Welcome back to another Explainer. Today we're popping the hood on humanitarian logistics. Specifically, we're unpacking Mission Go's life-saving operations over in Sierra Leone. You know, we hear about global charities all the time, but we rarely get to actually see how they overcome real-world, physical obstacles to deliver on their promises. So today, we're mapping out the precise anatomy of a mission and looking at how tackling geographical barriers head-on can literally open up doors for immense hope. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive right in. Think about a young boy just taking a drink of fresh water straight from a tap. When we talk about clean water access, we aren't just talking about a public utility or some modern convenience. In Sierra Leone, clean water is a high-stakes, everyday survival issue. It is the absolute baseline for health, for community, and really for any kind of future. But actually getting that water flowing out of a tap, well, that requires a massive, complex chain of well-planned logistics, heavy machinery, and incredibly dedicated people working tirelessly behind the scenes.
So that brings us to the core question we really need to ask ourselves today. How exactly do mechanical bottlenecks threaten life-saving water access? It's a fascinating problem to look at. I mean, you can have all the funding in the world, right? And you can have the most dedicated volunteers standing by, ready to go. But if your trucks can't physically reach the villages that need you the most, the mission just stops dead in its tracks. Today, we're going to see how field teams are actively battling these exact geographical and logistical bottlenecks right now.
Section 1. Sierra Leone's Water Challenge.
Sierra Leone is this profoundly beautiful and resilient place, but it's dealing with severe water scarcity. The daily reality for a lot of people there involves these incredibly long, arduous journeys just to collect water. It's a chore that entirely dictates the rhythm of daily life, and it heavily restricts opportunities, especially for young people. And remember, this is a nation that has weathered years of devastating civil war. They fought through the horrors of the Ebola epidemic and, of course, the global disruptions of COVID-19. Through all of these compounding crises, the underlying vulnerability has always been water. So access to clean water here isn't just a health necessity to stop disease, it's a really powerful opportunity to bring lasting, transformative hope and stability to communities that have already endured so much.
Moving on to Section 2, Decades of Drilling Wells.
And this brilliantly illustrates the measurable impact of that work. For over a generation, Mission Go has partnered deeply with local Christians and North American well drillers. This hands-on collaboration has actually resulted in hundreds of village wells, and the data here is crystal clear. They've recorded a sharp reduction in waterborne diseases across these communities. That was absolutely critical during the Ebola and COVID-19 outbreaks. But honestly, what might be even more critical for the long haul is that they are raising up a completely new generation of Sierra Leonean teachers, drillers, and local leaders. Many of the local experts who are running these complex drilling rigs today, they were just kids in the villages when Mission Go first started out. It's a textbook example of sustainable, generational impact.
Section 3. The Urgent Logistical Need. Now, in the past, operations were somewhat straightforward. Crews could usually drill wells relatively close to the main roads. But the current reality? It's drastically different. Recent, severe droughts have fundamentally shifted the entire geography of this mission. The water table has dropped significantly, so now existing wells have dried up and they need to be deepened. And crews are basically being forced to abandon that easy roadside access. They have to push out to new, highly remote villages located way off the beaten path. Essentially, the terrain is actively fighting back against the drillers, creating this massive logistical bottleneck that requires some very specialized equipment to overcome.
Section 4. The $75,000 vehicle solution.
So, the crucial point is right here in the numbers. To overcome this geographical bottleneck, Mission Go needs an exact mechanical solution totaling $75,000, and it breaks down into two absolutely vital pieces of equipment. First up, $50,000 is needed for a heavy-duty pickup truck. This isn't a luxury, it's a strict operational requirement for hauling incredibly heavy materials, water pumps, and the drilling crews themselves over some really punishing terrain. But the truck can't do it alone. The remaining $25,000 goes toward a four-wheel drive compact tractor that's equipped with a scoop, because out there, you literally have to cut your own access roads into the remote bush just to get the pickup truck to the drilling site in the first place. Together, these two vehicles form a comprehensive system to keep things moving forward to the next village.
Which leads us to Section 5, the ripple effect of water.
Let's talk about the number 17. It represents a specific moment reported by the organization that goes way beyond gritty mechanical logistics and financial charts. Back in the spring of 2026, drillers visited a well that had run tragically low after months of relentless drought. But before lifting a single wrench or firing up the heavy machinery, the team actually paused to share the gospel with the villagers who had gathered around. And by the end of that very first day, 17 people reportedly gave their lives to Christ, with even more following in the days after. Mission Go points out that this is not an unusual story for them. It's the exact pattern they report seeing when practical physical relief is consistently paired with their spiritual outreach in Sierra Leone.
So when you're looking at an operation like this, tracking resource deployment is key, right? The transparent allocation of funds here is mapped out across 4 main pillars. First is equipment, literally keeping those vital vehicles running and supplying the drilling tools, pumps, pipes, and cement. Second is training, providing ongoing high-level skill building for the Sierra Leonean drillers so the local community maintains true ownership of the expertise. Third is maintenance, because digging a well isn't just a one-and-done event. It means deepening existing wells during droughts and continually upgrading sanitation. And finally, gospel work, providing scripture, training materials, and partnering directly with local churches right there at the well sites. It's a highly integrated, totally holistic strategy.
Now, what's really interesting about this campaign is the transparency. Mission Go has SCFA accreditation. That's the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability, which is a recognized standard ensuring that funds are managed with total integrity. Through their source materials, supporters can scan a QR code to make one-time gifts toward that $75,000 goal, or even set up monthly pledges to sustain the project year-round. This is the exact mechanism they use to ensure their crews have the steady resources they need to cut new roads, transport all that heavy gear, and reach the next remote village without any disruption.
So, we've explored the changing geography, we've broken down the exact mechanical bottlenecks, and we've reviewed the incredible human impact that's reported when those bottlenecks are cleared. I want to leave you with this final thought. When transparent humanitarian logistics clear the way, what ripple effect could your single drop of support create today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep asking great questions, and I will see you next time.